In the early 19th century, Europe was engulfed in wars and political strife, with Napoleon Bonaparte, the French emperor, seeking to expand his empire. Following a series of military victories, Napoleon turned his attention to Russia, viewing control over the vast nation as a critical strategic step. The French campaign in Russia began in 1812 after relations between France and Russia soured. Tsar Alexander I had started to distance himself from the alliance with Napoleon, raising the latter's ire. Recognizing that conquering Russia would solidify his dominance in Europe, Napoleon assembled a massive army. Napoleon's army, known as the Grand Army, consisted of about 600,000 troops. He began his march eastward in June 1812, crossing the Russian border on June 24th. Initially, the French army faced little resistance, as the Russians employed a scorched earth strategy, retreating and leaving behind nothing useful. The sweltering heat and harsh conditions posed significant challenges for the French soldiers. In August 1812, the Battle of Smolensk took place, where Napoleon's forces engaged the Russian troops led by General Mikhail Kutuzov. The battle was bloody, but the French managed to capture the city at a high cost. In September 1812, one of the fiercest battles of the campaign occurred at Borodino. This decisive battle resulted in heavy casualties on both sides, but the Russians managed to withdraw and regroup. After the battle, Napoleon entered Moscow on September 14, 1812, only to find the city deserted and ablaze. Upon entering Moscow, Napoleon discovered the city deserted, as Russian forces had evacuated and set many buildings ablaze. He hoped to force the Tsar into negotiations, but instead, he faced a dire situation with dwindling supplies and the brutal Russian winter fast approaching. As winter approached, Napoleon decided to retreat from Moscow in October 1812. The conditions were harsh, with French soldiers facing extreme cold and hunger, coupled with continuous attacks from Russian forces. Morale plummeted, and the ranks of the Grand Army thinned significantly. By December 1812, only a fraction of the Grand Army remained. Casualty estimates reached around 400,000 soldiers, marking this campaign as one of the greatest military disasters in history. Napoleon returned to France with the remnants of his army, but the defeat had severe consequences for his authority. The French campaign in Russia marked a significant decline in Napoleon's dominance over Europe. Other European nations began to unite against him, leading to a downturn in his power and eventual downfall in the subsequent years. The campaign highlighted the importance of military strategy and the need to consider climatic and geographic conditions. The French campaign in Russia in 1812 serves as a historical lesson on military hubris and the importance of strategic planning.